Hi guys, welcome back or welcome to my channel if you're new here. My name is Zsuzsi and guess what we are going to do today? It is that time again when I am cleaning out, or I should say clearing out, my TBR and my DNFs. I have so many DNFs. I am DNFing books left and right. That was right and left. Whatever, you know exactly what I mean. Now you guys know that I don't unhaul the books that I read, that I finish, because I am building a home library, but I have no connection whatsoever to my TBR or to my DNFs, so I like to get rid of them. When I don't need them, I don't want them to take up the space. Now the difference in this video will be, compared to all the other unhaul videos that I've done, is that I have not prepared the books prior to sitting down or filming this video. We are going to do this unhaul together. We are going to clear out my TBR cart together, and we will have to be ruthless in this video. So I'm just gonna grab this cart. It is insanely heavy because I have this cart, all 3 shelves full with books, front and back. So yeah, let's just grab the cart and get to it. Also guys, it is insanely hot in Boston. We are in the middle of a heat wave, but honestly we've been in the middle of a heat wave for weeks now, and it is easily like 37 Celsius in my apartment, so bear with me as I am melting in this video. I am building like a wall of books. It is going to be my little book fort for today. Let's go from left to right. And again, Zsuzsi, this is right, so let's go from right to left. That's what I meant. Okay, the very first one, A Master of Gin by P. Gilly Clarke. This is something that I am keeping. I am absolutely obsessed with this book, so this is something that stays. Light from Uncommon Stars by Rika Aoki. This is something that has to go. This is actually a DNF of mine. Yeah, I cannot connect with this book. I cannot connect with the writing style. So yeah, this is something that has to go. Well, can you guys tell how insanely hot and sticky it is today? Because I am literally sticking to the books. The Daily Stoic. This is something that stays because I adore that book. All About Love by Bell Hooks. This is something, again, that stays because I cannot wait to read that book. Ooh, next, Fortuna Sworn by KJ Sutton. This is something that has to go. This is, again, a DNF of mine. I didn't realize that this book was a dark fantasy romance because, with all honesty, I didn't know that that was a genre. But now I do, and unfortunately it is not my cup of tea. Dark romance and dark fantasy romance in general, it's not my cup of tea, so this will be something that I am unhauling. This has to go. Next, The Idiot by Elif Batuman. This is something that's staying with me, and I am planning to read it in the fall. Oh guys, I forgot. I meant to say these 2 things before we started the whole unhauling. 1, if you guys think that I should keep the books that I am unhauling because you read those books and you think that they are fantastic and I should give them another try, please let me know. I will consider your opinion, of course, as always. And then the second thing is that you guys know that when I unhaul my books, I usually don't sell them, but I donate them to my library. That's how I am trying to support my library, because I use Libby so much. However, the last time when I did a massive unhaul, I decided to take my books to little free libraries, and you guys were obsessed with that video. That was the first video that I ever created that went viral. Honestly, that's how much you guys loved it. So if you like me to do that again, to take these unhauled books all around Boston and just to put them into little free libraries, I am happy to do that. Definitely let me know in the comments. And one more thing. Again, I need to emphasize this. I have to be ruthless with this unhaul. So if you see me hesitating, just say, no, Zsuzsi, you have to unhaul that book. You have to unhaul that. Okay, now back to the unhauling. Next book, A Woman is No Man. This is something that I am DNFing. This is just on my TBR. Honestly, I haven't tried this book. This is something that I got from Book of the Month when it was like on their list for that given month. But honestly, I am not really in the mood anymore. We will have another Book of the Month book somewhere in this pile that has to go. Next, Lagoon by Nnedi Okorafor. This is a sci-fi first contact with aliens, and I featured this book in one of my videos when I sampled the first chapter, the prologue of this book, and honestly, I don't really like this book. I read a couple of more chapters before I decided to DNF this book and then just get rid of it. Next is another DNF. Looking for Love in All the Haunted Places by Claire Kahn. This is a new release, and this book was kind of like a cover by me, and I was also genuinely interested in the book after reading the synopsis. However, I read like 5-6 chapters and I cannot stand the main female character, and again, this book was not what I expected it to be, so I think that this one has to go. Yeah, bye-bye. And honestly, this is my second book from Claire Kahn. I think that she's only published 2 books, right? And I finished The Romantic Agenda, but I also didn't really like that book. I don't like this one, so I don't think that I will try another book from her. Okay, once I unhauled these 2 piles, I'm going to pick that book up. Next one is The Twilight Garden. This is also something that I am not going to keep. It's not a DNF. It's just like I don't need this book on my TBR. Soul of Ash and Blood. This is something that I kind of have to keep because this is part of the From Blood and Ash series that I am reading. So I am keeping that one. The Mountain is You. I am keeping this one. This Land is Our Land by Sukitu Mehta. I am keeping this one. Inner Engineering by Shaguru. I'm keeping this one. Oh my god. The Housemaid by Frida McFadden. This is probably my biggest DNF of the year. I picked this book up because the rage on booktube that everybody loves this book, and when you go up on Goodreads, this book is like 4.3 or something with 1 million ratings. This book, a toddler can write better than Frida McFadden. Jesus, DNF. I kind of don't even want to give it to the library or the little free library because this book is so bad I don't want others to read it. But obviously, it's not my place to say and do things like this, so I am going to donate it. But oh dear Lord, maybe I should leave a note with it. The Butchering Art. This is something that stays. 6 feet over. This is also something that stays. Oh, I have a lot of nonfiction. This is insane. Record of a Spaceborne Few by Becky Chambers. This is obviously something that I am keeping. You will never see me on this channel DNFing a Becky Chambers book. That is just not possible, okay? Next pile, The Kind Worth Killing by Peter Swanson. Again, insanely famous book and everybody loves it. But I read that other book from Peter Swanson. What was that? The Christmas Guest. And I was like, this is not good. I really did not like how the author wrote the female character in that book. I think I compared him to Riley Sager, and like probably they are like competing who can write the worst female character ever. So this is something that's like has to go. I don't really want to play with Peter Svensson. Okay, next. Velvet Was the Night by Silvia Moreno Garcia. This is also something that I am not interested in anymore. Book has to go. Next, Hood Feminism. I adore this book. This is a fantastic feminist book. However, I have 2 copies. So one of them I am going to like put it in a little free library. This is more like an advanced feminist book. So if you are like, you know, already familiar with certain feminist principles, then I think that this is like a really great book to pick up, but probably not when you're a beginner. That's what I would say. I adore it, and I think that whoever picks this up next will adore it as well. Next is Miss Boar by Brandon Sanderson, and this is obviously something that is staying. Oh wait. No. Yeah, like that. Cool. Oh yeah, this is the next book of the month book that I decided to unhaul. Honestly, maybe I should be like a little bit more careful with my book of the month choices, because there is no point in getting them and then unhauling them. But this is something that is going. The Song of the Cell by Siddhartha Mukherjee. Yeah, this is also something that must go. If you've been around for a while, then you probably know that I had 2 copies of this book, and in my previous unhaul video, I unhauled that book, but I kept this one. I was like, I'm just gonna keep 1 copy because I feel obligated to read Siddhartha Mukherjee, but I hate his pretentious writing style. Who am I kidding? I am not going to read this book. So, has to go. Oh, The Whispering Dark. This is something that I only recently bought, and I am keeping this book because dark academia, paranormal, taking place in Boston. Yes, this is a book that I am keeping and probably reading in the fall. Next, Trace of the Emerald Sea by Brandon Sanderson. This is, of course, something that is staying with me. The Cloisters by Katie Haynes. Again, this book was featured in my Try a Chapter video, and I was obsessed with the prologue and the first chapter of this book. I like dog-eared so many pages already, and this will be a perfect kind of like dark academia book to read in the fall. So this is something that is staying. Next, The 40 Rules of Love by Elif Shafak. Certainly, this is staying with me. You will never see me DNFing an Elif Shafak book on this channel. I am making like really big statements in this video. Okay, now I have a couple of classics that I bought in London, so these books are definitely staying, and also I am definitely reading them this year. Strange Case of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde obviously stays. Picture of Dorian Gray obviously stays, and also an other Angela Carter book, The Bloody Chamber. I recently read my very first Angela Carter book, Heroes and Villains, and I am keeping this one, okay? Next, The Science of Storytelling. This is a book that I bought in Sydney. Like, you can like still see the sticker, the Aussie sticker from the Australian bookstore that I have in the book. And I kind of don't want to DNF this book because this is the last book that I bought in Sydney before I moved to Boston, right? And also I am genuinely interested in this book. It's just, you know, too little time, but I cannot, I just cannot unhaul this book. So this is something that has to stay. Ooh, The Doll Factory. This is also something that's staying. I am reading this in the fall, and also I got this book in London. So obviously this is something that I am keeping. A December to Remember. This is on my, guess what? December TBR to read in the winter leading up to Christmas. I wanted to do it last year, but I just never got around reading this book. So obviously I am reading it this year. And the next book, Fire and Blood by George R.R. Martin. Certainly, this is a book that I am keeping. Guys, I am freaking obsessed with the TV show House of the Dragon, and I am trash for Targaryens, okay? So certainly I am reading this book. Oh my god, how many pages? 725. Wow. 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 Boy, do we love fantasy. Okay, next book. Part 2. Party of Two. Part 2? What? Party of Two. I don't even know what this book is. It is a romance book. And I've read something from this author, and I think that it was actually pretty good, but I'm just like not really interested in this book anymore. And you can see that I bought this book on sale, so at least, you know, it's not a big financial loss unhauling this book. Okay, the next pile. I'm just gonna like separate this pile into two before, like, you know, this whole thing just goes south. Okay, The Vacationers. No, thank you. I bought this book to read in the summer, but I am not keeping it. I thought it was a romance book, and then it turns out that this book is all about like family dynamics and such. And thank you, I am not interested. So that's going there. Next is a middle grade book. This is a fantasy middle grade book, Wildwood. And honestly, I bought this for the winter because, I mean, come on, just look at this cover. However, I realized that this is part of a series. And am I going to start a middle grade fantasy series when I am already in the middle of so many young adult and adult fantasy series? I don't think so. And I know exactly what little free library I am going to take this book to, because in my previous video I found a little free library that was operated for children, by children, I think. I am going to track that little free library down and then take this book there. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. Next, Severance by Ling Ma. Who am I kidding? I'm not going to read it. Next, Get Well Soon. This is by Jennifer Wright, and I cannot wait to read this book because this book, I think it's like 12 chapters or something like that. This book is about the worst plagues that happened in history, and also the doctors and the nurses who fought them, and the scientists who ended up discovering the cure. Let me just move a little bit. So yeah, I cannot wait to read that book. Next, The Black God's Drums by Pete Gilly Clark. I DNF this book. I don't care, so I'm just putting it into that pile. Next, The Four Agreements. So this is a book that I have 2 copies of, and I am unhauling one of them. Honestly, I know that everybody is like all over The Four Agreements. I don't think it's that fantastic. The author has this other book, Mastery of Love, I think that's like the second book or the follow-up book after this one, and that is so much better. So if you want to read anything like The Four Agreements or anything from this author, I recommend A Mastery of Love. Next book, Leave the World Behind. This is one of my favorite books of all time. I love it, and I also love the movie, by the way. It's a very rare situation when I love the book and the movie as well. But I have 2 copies, and I don't like Hollywood covers. I got this one because the copy that I have is hardback, and I also don't really like hardbacks. But then, now that the movie is out, all you can buy is the Hollywood cover. I didn't know that when I ordered it online, so this is something that has to go. The French Exit. I am absolutely not interested in this book, so this is something that has to go. Ooh! A Wicked Game by Kate Bateman. This is something that's staying. You guys know that I am absolutely freaking obsessed with Tessa Dare, and I am trying to find other authors who are writing like really good banter and really good historical romance, much, if you will. And I am trying Kate Bateman, and so far I'm like, I am loving her books. Next is a Shakespeare play, and this is also staying because I bought this in London, and this is A Midsummer Night's Dream. I should kind of read it because this is July. Midsummer, you know. I don't know about this one, guys. The Raven Boys, the very first book in the Raven Cycles. Do you guys think I should keep it? I sampled this book, the prologue and the first chapter, and I think that it was like really good, but do I want to start a young adult book series? I'm not sure. I'm not sure. You guys know, let me know what you think of the Raven Boys or the Raven Cycle series in general. For now, I am going to put it in the unhaul pile. The Witch Collector by Carissa Weeks. This is something that's staying. Guys, I haven't really read a fantasy romance since January. What was the last fantasy romance? I think the last fantasy romance I read was House of Flame and Shadow by Sarah J. Maas this year. Was it? I think so. I need to read more. I need to read more. So The Witch Collector is staying. Next, Children of Fallen Gods by Carissa Broadbent. We all know how I feel about the War of Lost Hearts series, so obviously this is also something that has to stay. And I also have the third book somewhere, so that is staying. The Jinn Waits 100 Years by Shubnum Khan. This is also something that I cannot wait to read. This will be my first Shubnum Khan book and I am so excited. Okay, next is The Greatest Invention. I don't know, guys, because I started this book and with all honesty I kind of want to DNF it, but not because anything is wrong with this book. I didn't tell you what this book is about. So this book is basically about the very first scripts of humanity. So we have a lot of things here, scripts from Crete and also Egyptian scripts, and the author is like basically trying to explain how the written word was formed, and it is so interesting. And I love the pictures because there are obviously original pictures of the scripts in this book, but this book is like horribly written. It is so badly written, and I don't think it's the translation, because this book is translated from Italian because the author Silvia Ferrara is Italian, and sometimes I have to translate. Oh my god. Sometimes I have to translate, and I am not a translator, I'm not a professional translator, but sometimes I end up translating and I kind of feel that it is not the translation, it is the writing style itself. It is terrible. Oh my god, I'm just so interested in this book, but the writing, oh. When did I stop reading this book? It was page 40. And I still have 360, 220 pages left. Oh my god, can I do it? I said to be ruthless. I said to be ruthless, so I am going to unhaul that book. Okay, next, Just for the Summer by Abby Jimenez. This is something that I am keeping. I am still waiting for the audiobook from my library because I want to read it with the audiobook. Yeah, but I am hoping that this is something that I will finish in the summer. Next is The Architect's Apprentice by Elif Shafak. And again, I said that I would never DNF an Elif Shafak book, and that stands. I will never DNF, and I will never unhaul a DNF. An Elif Shafak book. Oh my god, no, it's coming down. The tower is coming down. Oh, let me just move some books here. Okay, cool. Next, Happy Place by Emily Henry. This is obviously something that's staying, and I am going to read that book in Maine soon. I am going to Maine and I am taking that book with me. This is just something that really bugs me. This Greatest Invention. I am going to keep it. Okay, next is Emma of 83rd Street. This is a romance book, a collaboration between two authors, Audrey Belezza and Emily Harding, and this is a modern day New York City retelling of Emma by Jane Austen, and I am really curious because they also have a retelling, reimagination, I should say, for Pride and Prejudice that takes place in the Hamptons. So it is obviously staying. I wanna read it. Next, Thrown in the Dark. This is a fantasy romance book, and honestly, I have such high hopes for this book. Partially a cover buy because it is purple, and you guys know exactly how I feel about purple. So partial cover buy, but also like I cannot wait to read this book. The main male character in this book is called Damon. Okay? That's all I'm saying. Okay, the last big tower slash pile of book. Ruthless Decisions, the Book of Form and Emptiness. Of course it is staying. I mean, Ruthless Decisions. Are you kidding me? I will never DNF or unhaul a Ruthless Decisions book. Next, If You Can't Take the Heat. This is a book that I think I will absolutely adore. I've already read a couple of chapters and I am loving it. The only problem is that this is an arc and I want to get the actual book because I've already noticed a couple of like mistakes and typos in this book. So if I read it, I want to get like, you know, the proper copy. This one was a gift from my neighbor and I am so happy that she gave me this book. But the arc, I'm actually going to unhaul and then somebody else can probably like, you know, enjoy that arc. Oh, A Molecule Away from Madness. This is a non-fiction book that I am already reading. I am in the middle of this book and I am loving it. So this is something that stays. The next two books are, however, DNFs and they have to go. The very first one is Whereabouts by Jhumpa Lahiri. I had such high hope for this book. Because I really like the other book that I read from her, The Interpreter of Melodies. Yeah, I liked it. And I had like high hopes for this book and I didn't realize that this is kind of like essays, a collection of essays, and I just cannot connect with this book. So again, we are ruthless. This one has to go. I mean, if we think like that, then the greatest invention also has to go, right? I just cannot let it go. I just cannot let it go. Okay, next, Tom Lake by Anne Patchett. I know that this book is insanely famous and everybody likes it. However, I don't like it. I've read like 5 chapters and it's not really my thing. So yeah, goodbye. No matter how gorgeous your cover is. It's such a gorgeous cover. I mean, come on, such a gorgeous cover. Next, I have 2 Hungarian books and this is something that I am obviously keeping. I don't really talk about Hungarian books on this channel because for many Hungarian books that I read don't have English translations. Yeah, okay, calm down. I know how unfair this situation is. Someone's angry. Though it's Boston, drivers are always angry here, so I don't know what to say. Yeah, so that's why I don't really speak about Hungarian books, but those 2. Okay, we're just gonna use this break as like a hydration break. Oh no. Okay, moving on. 8 Perfect Hours. Oh, this is such a cutesy romance. I already started this book, but it takes place in the winter and okay, I don't know if you can tell, but this is not the winter anymore, so I am keeping it for like the winter. Next, The Evolution of God. This is also something that's staying. Next, The Emperor of All Melodies by Siddhartha Mukherjee. I absolutely hate this book. I hate this book. Like I don't want to read this book, but I've already read like 50% of it. I'm exactly on page 300 and now what I'm going to do is just to read like 5 to 10 pages I should say every single week and then just chew myself through this book, and if I do that I should finish this book by the end of the year. And I know what you're thinking. You're thinking the same thing. Like, what the hell, Zsuzsi? Like, you should just unhaul that book. But I kind of feel like that considering my occupation, because for those of you who don't know, I am a scientist and I'm a medical scientist, I kind of feel like that I have to read this book. And this was also the winner of the Pulitzer Prize, you know? And Siddhartha Mukherjee has published so many books. And honestly, again, I kind of feel like obliged to read his books. I'm not going to, but at least I want to finish this one. Oh my God. Oh wow, I am really good at convincing myself about stuff, right? Next, A Dreadful Splendor. I absolutely freaking adore this book. This was one of the biggest like surprises this year, but I have 2 copies. Do I need 2 copies? No, I don't need 2 copies. So I am going to unhaul one of these books. I have a used version. I think that this is the used version, and then I also have a new one. I think this is the used one. This is the one I read. Wait, which one? No, I have it here. Anyways, I am going to unhaul this. Okay, next is the last book, book number 3 in the War of Lost Heart series by Carissa Broadbent, and obviously this is something that's staying considering how much I love that book. Next, Castle in the Clouds by Kirsten Gear. This is something that is staying, and I am going to read this book. Oh my god, this book is just so insanely beautiful. Wow, this is crazy. Like, look at that. This is a book that I am going to read probably during the winter break, because this book takes place at like what is it? New Year's Eve. Yeah, that's what I was looking for. Yeah. And the last book, oh my god, I went through all of these books. Wow. The last book is The Patriarchs by Angela Saini, and certainly this is something that is staying. I adore Angela Saini's books and her writing. I think my favorite book from her that I've read so far is Inferior. Wow, I adore that book. So this is also something that is staying. Just in case you guys don't know, I am like advertising this book right here, right now. But this is basically discusses the origins of the patriarchy. I am very, very, very interested in that book. Wow, we're done. I am done. I am done. And I still need to put these books back on the cart. Okay. Well guys, this is it. This is the end of the video. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate you. And if you are still here, you are an absolute hero. Now again, do let me know in the comments if you think that I should keep any of these books. And also let me know again if you want me to do a little free library vlog for all the books that I unhauled. Hit share, like, and subscribe to my channel. If you haven't already done so, you are welcome here. I have a lot of fun bookish videos coming up for the rest of the summer and for the rest of the year. But in the meantime, if you want to check out any of my other videos, I will leave them on the screen here and here. And stay hydrated, and I will see you soon in an upcoming video. Bye! Hey guys, I think we did a good job. These are the books that I decided to keep, and you know, just looking at these books, I am genuinely interested in reading these books, and I am already in the middle of so many of these books, so this is great. And this is the pile that we are unhauled, and it is a lot of books, and these are again just all DNFs and TBRs that I am not interested in. So yeah, I think that we did a fantastic job. How many books are here? Captain Hot, what's these? 14. Oh wow, okay, 24 books. That's a lot. Okay. One more. I forgot about that one.